Pumas captain Pablo Matera has been stripped of his captaincy. He's been stood down from the team. Likewise, a couple of the other players as well. Yeah, social media, man, it's gotten him into some trouble. Now, apparently there's some racist comments on Twitter from him from 2011, which is never cool. Doesn't really matter how old you are, because he was still a young man when he made these comments. That kind of stuff's inappropriate. It's not right. Shouldn't be doing it, man. And putting it on social media makes a bad thing even worse. And he's paying the price for it now, which is a pity, because it was only a couple of weeks ago that Matera was all over the news for the right reasons, saying he's playing for his country, getting a first ever win over the All Blacks, and he was at kind of the peak of his respect and fame and all that stuff, and then now it's all gone down the drain with some tweets, some racist tweets he made back in 2011 when I think he was 18 or 19. He has apologized and said he's going to take charge of the comments, which he said 9 years ago, which is good. At least he's owning it, and he's not trying to worm his way out of it. He said he's sorry, supporters, team, family, everybody. So that is what it is. Socino and Petty have also been suspended from the team for similar reasons. So yeah, not a really good news story today, unfortunately. There's enough bad things going on in the world without this stuff being added to it. So yeah, I mean, nobody is perfect. I hate to think what kind of nonsense I was talking when I was like 18 or 19. I hope it wasn't racist stuff, but man, if I met myself when I was 18, I'd probably think I was a bit of an idiot. So probably look back at these videos now in 9 years and think the same thing, but that's just what it is, man. Yeah, really disappointing. Really, really, really disappointing. Apparently, there's maybe a bit of a connection to the Diego Maradona situation in Argentina, and obviously that's a thing that me as a Kiwi, I can't get my head around just what the passing away of Maradona meant to the Argentinian people. I think that's an intensity level beyond anything we have here in New Zealand, but from what I've read online, there's apparently a little bit of a backlash to the Argentinian rugby team about not kind of paying the proper respects to Maradona. And then that was maybe what led people to look through really old tweets to find something to discredit some of the players. And that's what's happened. So yeah, I did notice that the Argentinian rugby team put a YouTube video up 11 hours ago as I record this video, as a kind of sign of respect to Maradona, but maybe it's a bit too late. I know the All Blacks were widely praised for the jersey they presented just prior to the haka. I didn't read what didn't the Argentinian rugby team do in that kind of same time period. I'm assuming they didn't do much, which is maybe what they've copped a bit of flack for. It's reminiscent of the Israel Folau situation. Remember, he tweeted, and that got him fired from his job. He still got paid out from his job. Remember, he reached a settlement with Aussie Rugby, talented player who got fired basically, yeah, for his social media activities. Players, man, I know they're all young guys, but you've just got to be very mindful of what you put on social media. I talked to April on Patreon a while back, and she mentioned that Richie McCaw, who's pretty well regarded here in New Zealand, didn't get on social media until after he retired as a rugby player, which is maybe a wise thing, but not realistic in the modern times. Maybe he's of that age where he could kind of bypass it, but the guys nowadays are on it from when they're school kids, kind of thing. So it's probably not realistic, but yeah, as I mentioned, it's not a great news one. So the players have been stood down. They are going to look to appoint a new captain. I'm not sure if this is going to be a short-term deal with just the one game to go, or whether they'll be looking for a kind of long-term replacement for Matera. But yeah, man, it's just really disappointing. Because otherwise, I think up until this point, the Pumas story in the Rugby Championship has been a pretty good one. Albeit they got a bit of a hiding at the weekend. Yeah. Who takes over as captain will be an interesting one. The first name that came to my mind was Geronimo de la Fuente. He has captained the Jaguares before. I forget if he's captained the Pumas. I think that was usually Krevy. So I don't think but maybe he has for individual games. He's 29 years old. Generally a bit of a regular, although he didn't get a lot of game time in this Rugby Championship Tri-Nations, I believe, because he wasn't quite 100% fit. But he's 29 years old, leadership experience. He would seem to be a good guy. You could slot him for the final game. I then had a look through the squad, and if you're thinking if this incident is going to have Matera done as captain for good, maybe you could look at a guy like Marcos Kremer. He's only 23 years old, which is really young to be appointed captain, but as a player, he looks the business, and I think you want a player who is going to be like one of the first names off the team sheet to be your captain. Doesn't always have to be the best player. Often a star player doesn't make the best captain, but you don't want your captain to lose his spot in the team to a guy or hold out a guy who's actually playing better in that same position. So, yeah, maybe Kremer. Other guys who are all kind of in the right age range. Montoya, the hooker, 27 for a hooker. He should be around at least until this coming World Cup in 2023, maybe even a bit longer. So he's a potential one. Facundo Issa is also 27. Nico Sanchez is 32, so maybe a bit long in the tooth to be any long-term captain. And I don't even know if he'll play at the weekend, to be honest. He's played 3 games, so there might be time to give him a break. But, yeah, be good to see one of those guys, especially Kremer, Montoya, or De La Fuente, give them a run. Issa's 27, but yeah, there's a fair few good loose forwards in Argentina as well. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, disappointing story. But it is what it is. What do you guys reckon? I mean, you can go look up the posts if you want. It's nothing that's going to make your day particularly joyous. Do you reckon he bounces back from this? Do you give him a pass at all for his age when he did this stuff? Or do you think this sticks with him and it'll affect his career going forward? I haven't heard anything about his club doing anything stud francais, but certainly the Pumas management and whatnot have taken pretty swift action on these 3 players. So yeah, it's a bit of unfortunate news. I'd rather not be doing this video, but yeah. You guys have any thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you guys later.